why I told you that Ice Barriers not only can draw you 4 cards, they can also set up negates as well. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some crazy Ice Barrier combos that you guys need to know, especially with the brand new release of some pretty broken cards. Now, if you're a fan of my channel or just tuning in for the first time, guys, go ahead and leave a like and comment what you guys want to see next. I try my best to respond to each and every single one of you guys' comments, and of course, subscribe if you have not already, because I'm about to be going crazy with the videos. Now, without further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, now we're quickly going to be getting into the combo tutorial, and if you guys aren't familiar with what I do the basic combos, and then I do the pretty cool funky combos near the end. So again, of course guys, stay tuned for that. Leave a like and of course comment and subscribe, guys. But without further ado, this is going to be the first combo. Now this is more or less the bread and butter combo. If you guys are familiar with what the deck does, then you guys kind of know where I'm getting to. Now this is Hexa, Spirit of the Ice Barrier, our little salamander boy. He has the effect where he says during the main phase or your main phase, you can send one level 3 or lower Ice Barrier monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you do, this card's level becomes that level, so it's got pretty good level manipulation. He also is pretty good because he doesn't need to be normal or special summon during that turn, so you can like basically always do it. But again, it's a 1-card combo, so we'll start off with Hexa, normal summon Hexa, now use his effect during the main phase, or yeah, whatever, and then he will send our Mirror Mage of the Ice Barrier. This card's crazy. Like, this card is one of the cards that doesn't really make sense. This is one of those cards that, like, if they get printed in any other archetype, it just becomes amazing, and this is obviously no exception to that. This card has the effect where it says, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one of your Ice Barrier cards that is banished or in your deck to your hand. I don't know why it says like that is banished. It should have just been like from your deck or graveyard to your hand, but I mean, this deck does banish a good amount, so it's good to have that effect. Then it also has a pretty other legit effect as well that I'll talk about later on in the combo. So again, normal summon, we foolish Mirror Mage, and then Mirror Mage, when it's sent to the graveyard, can go ahead and add us any Ice Barrier monster. So this will go ahead and add us our Speaker for the Ice Barriers. Now Speaker has the effect where it says, if you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's pretty good in that regard as well, just a free extender. And then this card does go to level 2, so like if there's specific level manipulation plays you want to do, you can by all means do it, but just for right now in the bread and butter combo, we do not do that. So from here, guys, we can special summon out our Speaker. Then we can link these 2 cards away into our Marincess, Coral, Anemone, whatever you want to call it. This card says this: you can target 1 water monster with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard, special summon it, and then you get locked for the rest of the turn except water monsters. That's the only effect we're really gonna want to use. It's basically like Splash Mage. So basically we can go ahead and use Anemone, go ahead and target Mirror Mage. Now Mirror Mage has the effect where you contribute 1 other effect monster. You special summon up to 3 Ice Barrier tokens, and if you do, this card's level is increased by that many tokens. So if you summon 3, it gains 3 levels, 2, and so on and so forth. So we will use that right here. We're gonna use Mirror Mage. We will tribute off our Marincess, Coral, Anemone, and this will summon out our 3 tokens. From here, guys, now this card is a level 5. But before we do that, we can use Speaker's effect, which has the other effect where it says, if you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Ice Barrier token. This one doesn't really restrict us. The other ones do restrict us. Like this one, I believe it says you cannot special summon for the extra deck except water synchros, but we are already waterlocked. Now we get synchro locked. Doesn't really matter because like all the Ice Barrier cards are synchros anyways. But from here, guys, we can go ahead and banish to summon out another token. One thing to note is they are all level 1s. However, Mirror Mage is a level 5 right now, so just remember that, guys. So here, guys, we can go synchro 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can go ahead into our Ravenous Crocodile Dragon, Crocstor, whatever you guys want to call him. He has this effect: if this card is synchro summoned, you can draw cards equal to the number of non-tuners used for its synchro summon. We use 4 non-tuners, which are the tokens plus this guy, so we can draw 4 cards. Right here, guys, you can see, again, you just draw any 4 cards. This can be extenders, this can be hand traps, this can be floodgates, anti-spells, things of that nature. That is just like the first combo of the deck. Again, I just wanted to showcase you guys the real basic 1-card combo with Hexa. He's a little cute guy, so you want to know what you can do with him. But that is for the first combo, guys. Now let's get on to the second combo. All right, guys, now we're getting on to the second combo. Now this is kind of when the combo starts to deviate a little bit. It's just because when you open a card like Revealer of the Ice Barrier, this card's really good. Basically, she has the effect where you can only use each once per turn. Discard 1 card, special summon 1 Ice Barrier tuna monster from your deck, and then you get locked into waters. If you would discard for an Ice Barrier effect, you can banish from the graveyard. We're really just going to be using the first effect, which is the Summoner Monk effect. You guys will see it right here. We can normal Revealer, use Revealer's effect to discard the random card. Again, Fig Trap, like I said, and this will go ahead and summon out our Hexa. Now, like I said before, Hexa doesn't care how he was summoned as long as the effects are not negated. So now we can use Hexa, and now I'll just like speed up a little bit through it. Hexa's effect will dump our Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage will go ahead and add us our Speaker. This is more or less the loop like I was showcasing before, guys, where you want to get to Hexa. Hexa can send Mirror Mage. Mage gets Speaker, and now you're kind of off to the races. But this place does deviate a little bit, where now we summon Speaker, and this is our, I believe, our 3rd summon. And once you can start counting the summons, you kind of know what the combo is ending on. From here we can go Speaker and our Revealer overlay into our Bahamut. Now that's our 4th summon. Now we use Shark effect, detach. Technically you want to detach Speaker just for like the weird instance where like If this does get negated, we still have Speaker in graveyard, but for the most part, we're going to be linking this card off anyway, so all the material will always be in the graveyard. But from here, guys, we can go ahead and summon out our Totally Awesome on our 5th summon. Now we have a Toad negate, and once Toad negates, it can go ahead and get any of these cards back to our hand. So it's really nasty in that regard, honestly. But from here, link 2 into Anemone effect, reborn our Mirror Mage, and then this will go ahead and use Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage go ahead and tribute, summon out our tokens. Now this card gains 3 levels because we summon 3 tokens. It's kind of like Mirror, where like Mirror loses a level every token. Mirror Mage basically gains a level every token. So that's just one thing to remember. Now it is a 5, so we can synchro away into our Coral Dragon. This is just like a cute little thing to do. So we go into Coral Dragon. From here we can go ahead and use Speaker. Go ahead and summon out to get our monsters on the board. So now we can go synchro away, and now because we have a Coral Dragon, which is the 1 plus the 3 non-tuners, we can draw 3 plus 1, so we can still get to the draw 4 no matter what, even though it looked like we couldn't necessarily. So here we can go chain link 1, chain 2, so now we can draw 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we end up drawing 4, and we have a Totally Awesome negate on the board as well. And not only that, this Toad negate was on the 5th summon, so you can play around cards like Nibiru. We already like inherently play around like hand traps and things of that nature, just because the way the deck works. Like there's a bunch of extenders, bunch of starters as well, guys. So it's really good in that regard. So again, like I said before, first 2 combos are kind of just to showcase you guys the bread and butter plays that the deck can do, and then now we can get into like the 3rd and 4th combos where it gets a little bit more intricate. So let's get into the 3rd combo right now. Before we continue with the video, guys, I did end up launching a Twitter account. I got 8 followers on it, guys, and I will be doing a giveaway once I hit 100 followers on that. Also, on that note of new things, guys, I have launched a Twitch account as well. You guys can see live soon. I'll eventually go live soon, so if you follow, you guys will know, because I'm not just going to tell you because I'm a snake like that. Now let's get right back into the video. Alright, guys, now we are getting on to the 3rd combo, if I can remember how to count. And basically, this card is going to be Revealer plus the discard again. Plus this new card, his name is like Georgius, whatever. Curious George, Swordsman of the Ice Bear. I'll explain all these cards as they come around, and I will be doing deck file at the end of the video, guys, as well. So from here, guys, we can go ahead and go normal summon our Revealer. Now use Revealer again. This is all going to be the same thing, right? Discard, get Hexa effect, dump our Mirror Mage effect, go ahead and add our Speaker again. The cards in our hand, like I'm sure you guys noticed that like we don't use this card, so it could just be any variation of the 2 cards. From here, guys, we can special summon out our Speaker, overlay into our Shark, and now detach, and then we can summon out our Toad. So now we are insulated from Nibiru in theory, right? I mean, Toad's pretty good because it contributes, so it can dodge cards like Imperm. So we're playing against an opponent who doesn't really know the interaction. It works pretty well. From here, guys, we can go ahead and link our monsters away into Anemone effect, go ahead and reborn out our Mirror Mage effect, tribute, summon out the tokens, and then we can go ahead and synchro our monsters away into Coral Dragon. We want to put Coral Dragon in the extra monster zone, specifically because we want as many zones as possible. You guys will see here. Now we can go and use Georgius. Georgius has the effect where it says, if you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. We do control Ice Barrier monsters because they are the tokens. And this card says here, blah, blah, special summon up to 3 Ice Barrier tokens that are water monsters. So it works very well in that regard. From here, guys, it also says, if this card's no more special summon 1 level 5 or lower Ice Barrier monster from your hand or graveyard. Just remember that it also has the ability to summon from hand as well. Like if there's a weird reason. For the most part, we're always going to be summoning from graveyard. So we summon Georgius. Georgius effect here, we'll go ahead and summon our Revealer. So we have a level 6 tuner and a level 4 non-tuner. And then from here, we can go ahead and synchro our monsters away into our Lancea, Ancestral Dragon of the Ice Mountain. Now, once Lancea hits board, this card's pretty broken. This is the new boss monster of the deck in theory. It says once per chain, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon 1 Ice Barrier monster from your hand, deck, X deck, or graveyard, and then change 1 attack with the monster to defense. You can use that twice per turn. If it's removed, it can summon out a Trish monster and it counts as a synchro, or a Ancestral Dragon Ice Barrier and counts as a synchro. So from here, guys, we can go ahead and now we can use Speaker, summon out the token. And now again, it's gonna be the same thing. We summon the Crocodile Dragon, so now we can draw 4, right? And then we draw 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now basically we have 4 cards in our hand. They can be extenders, hand traps, you know what I mean. And then we also have Crocosaur, where he has the effect where you can discard 2, then pop 1 card on the field. Really good. We also have a Toad negate, and then we have Lancea being Lancea. So from here, guys, basically this is the way it works, right? So we can use this up to twice per turn, and depending on what our opponent is kind of playing, we can summon these cards. So we can summon Ryo. Ryo says, when your opponent's monster effect activated on the field, they must discard 1 card, or the effect is negated. So again, cute little hand loop. We can also get Warlock, which is an anti-spell. Set spell cards before activating him, cannot activate him during the next turn. And you can get Medium, which also has the effect where your opponent can only activate 1 spell trap card each turn. So like if you're playing against a slower kind of negate deck or like a back row Labyrinth deck, or just some stun deck, you can get Medium out instead. Medium's kind of the more niche one, like Ryo and Warlock are the better ones. More times than not, Warlock might be a little better because it's like an anti-spell, and like if you main that, that's crazy. And then you also have a more resilient thing where it says if this card's outed for any reason, you can special summon one Ice Barrier Synchro monster. It's treated as Synchro Summon. So with that effect, guys, you can go ahead and summon out a Trishula. So you can summon out this new Trishula, which is Zero Dragon or Ice Barrier. You can also summon out the other Trish, but for the most part, you want to summon this because you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent controls, and this card also has secondary effects. So you guys will see here, where if it's destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can summon another Trishula and then negate like all the face-up monsters and cut all their attacks in half, kind of like a droplet in that regard. So it's really good because like you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent controls. Then if this card gets outed, you can go in and summon out the other Trish, and now this card goes to 33 and negates it. So that's it for the third combo, guys. I have a negate, draw 4 plus disruption. Now let's get into the fourth combo. All right, guys, now we're getting on to the fourth and final combo. Now this one's gonna be a little weird. It's kind of for like my OG Swordsoul fans. The reason for that is like, honestly, I just discovered that this was like some random crap that you could do. But basically, guys, we go here, we go normal summon Swordsoul and Moyi. Moyi effect will trigger to go ahead and reveal our Stana, summon out a token, and then synchro these 2 cards away into our Shishao. So then we can go chain link 1, chain link 2. This will let us draw a card and search a card. So from here, again, draw the card, and now we can search long you want. This is where it gets pretty funny, right? Because the Trishula card is a generic level 10 synchro monster. So we can go ahead and summon here, synchro these 2 cards away into Lancea, and then of course, like, we can burn for 12, and then depending on what we have, right? But basically during our opponent's turn, now we can use Lancea to summon out these cards. And the reason why it's really good is like, you just need to play one of these cards in your deck, and that's it. You don't change your Swordsoul list at all. You just play any one of these cards. I wish one of them was a worm, because then like in theory it wouldn't be as bad. But I mean, to each your own, right? It doesn't matter where this card summons the monsters, so that's like another good thing. But like I was saying, I just wish there were worms, because like we could send them to the graveyard and still play. But it doesn't really matter. We can summon any of these cards. And then like, think about it. If we drew a blackout, we still had blackout. We still have blackout. So you have blackout, pop 2. We still have walking, talking floodgates as well. Plus a 3300 monster where like, if he gets outed, we can just play any of the other Trish because Swordsoul just has that type of flexibility. So if they out this card, we summon the regular Trish, banish 3 cards. It's pretty funny. I don't know if it's good, but it's pretty funny, and that was just the fourth combo. Now let's get quickly into the deck profile. All right, guys, so now we are quickly getting into the deck profile, just very quickly, very briefly. If you guys want like a more in-depth thing, you guys can comment down below or hit me up on like Twitter, Discord. I try to respond, like I said before. But basically, we will be playing triple Revealer of the Ice Bearer. This card's really good. It's probably the best normal summon of the deck because it says you can discard 1 card. It can be any card like I showcased before. So this is the best starter of the deck. Normal summon Revealer, discard any card, gives you Toad protection on the 5th summon, plus your draw 4. So it's really, really nasty in that regard. Then on top of that, we play Georgius, because if you open Georgius, we get like a free access to a level 10 synchro as well, on top of the other installation. Really good. We play 2 Hexa because we always just want Hexa in the deck. And again, we want to open at least 5 normal summons in a 40 card deck because then it gets too cloggy. And like if you open Revealer plus Hexa, it's not really good. So you want to keep that card in deck and just chill, and you know what I mean? You still want 1 in the deck at least. Similar to Speaker, we have infinite access of getting these cards. So again, Speaker works very well in that regard as well. And then kind of adding on to it is Mirror Mage. The reason why I decided to bump Mirror Mage up to 3 instead of 2, so initially I was testing at 2. The reason I want to play 3 is you guys will see not too soon, but again, it's really good to open this card plus Revealer because you can go Revealer, discard Mirror Mage, and then you can summon out a card, and then Mirror Mage can add a card, and then you can get Hexa, and then you can get Georgius, and you guys can see like the flow of things get into a really nasty loop. It's kind of like Swordsoul in a way, like the way you synchro summon, because it's just like 2-3 cards that are always getting you the same advantages. It's really good, and like Toad can recycle and things of that nature. And then the one main deck monster I'm playing right now is Ryo of the Ice Barrier. It's like the crappy card of the deck, but it's still not bad because like we can still use it to facilitate plays. It's a level 6 as well, so I mean, to each your own, right? But if you wanted to play Warlock, you absolutely can. I just think Ryo's a little better because like against decks like Tenpai and things of that nature, it basically says when your opponent's monster effect active on the field, they must discard a card. So I'm pretty sure it gets by saying in summoning the field spell because it's not affecting the monsters, it's affecting the player. Correct me if I'm wrong, like please comment down below, guys. I'm not too sure, but I think for that specific purpose, playing General Ryo is a lot better. Because once it hits the field, you know what I mean. But the reason why I decided to bump Mirror Mage up to 3 is because at first I wasn't playing this card. Ice Jade, Ran, Adrine. This card has this effect. You can discard 1 other Ice Jade card or water monster. So that's why I'm playing the 3rd Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage. Special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Ice Jade token. That's a level 3. While the token is in the monster and the player special summon, it cannot summon blah blah except tuners, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So you guys can see It is a 1 card, discard, summon itself, summon a token, synchro into Lancea, use this card's effect when sent to the graveyard, add a Hexa, normal Hexa. You guys can see that the combos can get pretty nasty out of hand, especially because we can draw into this card later on when we already have our Toad. So it's really good in that regard, right? So that's it for kind of, I would say, the main deck monsters. Like I said, I would relate it very similar to Swordsoul, and I love Swordsoul. So again, it's another deck. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for these cards. Hopefully I can pick them up for a good price. But moving on, guys, we will be playing triple Medallion of the Ice Barrier. Now I know it has the other alternate art as well. That's just not my flavor. I just rather play this card as well. So again, we are playing triple Medallion. It's literally a Rhoda, not once per turn. Like, you're tripping if you don't think you need to play this card. Then we have the 1 Freezing Chains of the Ice Barrier. This card's a little interesting. It says, when this card activated, target 1 level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monster in graveyard, special summon it. While you control 3 or Ice Barrier monsters are unaffected by the activated effects of monsters that was special summoned from the extra deck. Meaning that, again, it's really good. It's a clean extender. You can grab this card, and just like it just becomes really nasty in that regard as well. Just because like you'll activate it for the reborn effect, people will forget, and then once you have 3 and they try to do some extra deck nonsense, like you're like, yeah, target what? Okay, SP target, yeah, that's fine, unaffected, GG. And then we also play the 1 Wins over the Ice Barrier. Personally, I was kind of iffy on this card. I feel like it's good enough, but it's an easy side out, or like if you want to fit other cards, you can by all means play it. It just says this: tribute any number of Ice Barrier monsters specified from your deck, that many level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monsters with different names from each other. During main phase, except the turn this card is banished, you can banish this card, target 1 of your Ice Barrier monsters, add to your hand. It's really good. I personally wish that this card was a quick play, because then it'd be a lot better. It'd kind of be like Heavenly Dragon Circle in that regard. That's the only reason why I think it's like only okay, because like I wish I could go like normal summon Hexa effect, they go imperm, then I chain this card. Instead I have to go normal summon Hexa effect, they negate it, then I can use it after. So you know what I mean? It's like really weird, especially like drawing into it's not really the best, whereas if you draw into Freezing Chains, it's a lot better. I just wish that Freezing Chains had like another effect as well on top of that. But that, again, that's it for like the basic package, I would say, for like the cards you have to play. Probably don't even need to play Winds of the Ice Barrier personally. But now moving on to the deck, and this is why, again, the deck will thrive very well in like the current metagame. It can play infinite hand traps. So we have 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, triple Imperm, double Mourner, double Ogre, double Nib, double Talents, and 1 Call By. So personally, I'm not really a fan of like 2-ofs. I think the math behind it is just stupid. Like people say like, oh, sometimes, not all the time. It's really, really dumb. But you can see this deck, the reason why I play 2-ofs is I draw a shit ton of cards. So it's really good to kind of have that so you can facilitate it. And again, I told you my reasoning for Hexa and Speaker as well. You don't want to clog on too many normal summons for Hexa. We can search this card. We can always get it out as well with the Revealer, so it works very well. Similar to Speaker, we're always searching this card no matter what. So it's okay to play these cards at 2. And again, if you want to play like a heavier account and get to like 50, 55, maybe you can play 1, but drawing it gets a little awkward like if you open it. So I wouldn't say it's a brick, but yeah, like I said before, that's it. It's a cool 40. I think this deck is very, very consistent in my personal opinion. But now moving on to kind of the tech cards, like I said before, you can play the Swordsouls, Moyes, Shisando Long Yuan, Shisha Blackout, things of that nature. If you want to cut Ryo for Warlock, by all means, you can do that. I think Ryo's a little better, like I said before, but to each their own. Like, if anything, side this and this. You can play White Aura Whale as well. Similarly, you can play Abyss Dweller. And you can also play the Runic card. So, Hugin, Fountain, Tip, very, very good. If you guys want to see like a Runic deck profile, plays, live duels, things of that nature, like let me know down below, comment it, hit me up, whatever you guys want to do. Email me, it doesn't really matter. Actually, don't email me, never mind. But basically, you can do that. And then you just have the Runic cards. In my opinion, the most meta relevant way to play this deck is just with the Runic cards. You just need to be a little better with technical play, but that just comes with practice, and I never practice, so that's why I'm not showcasing it. And then we also play you can play the Deep Sea Prima Donna. It works better with the Runic cards because it says you can target one of your opponent's banished cards at your hand or specify one level 4 or lower water monster from your deck, and if you do, add the target to your hand. Runic cards, they banish face up, so we can look through it and give them like a crappy card, then we can go ahead and Rhoda, so it's very good in that regard. Then you play the Swap Frog, because Swap Frog says you can send one level 2 or lower Aqua monster from deck to the graveyard. Mirror Mage fits that requirement perfectly. But I think that if you were to play some sort of tech card, be it Swap Frog or Ice Shade Ran Adrian or the Ice Shade, whatever the hell you want to call this card, I think this card is better. But quickly moving on to the extra deck, guys, we will be talking about the 1 Coral Anemone, and then Haggard Lizardos is also really good. So it's a water monster. We're locked at a water, we always use this card, and it's basically like what is it, like a Diamond Direwolf, Dawn or Dagger type of thing, where you can tribute it and then banish card from your graveyard, basically it's itself, and then you can draw a card. So it's really good. Helps clear zones, helps you go second as well. It's very powerful in that regard as well, because this card says this: banish 1 monster with your banish one monster from your field face up with 2000 less attack, right? So you banish yourself. Draw one face up monster on the field. Make its attack become equal to the original attack of the banished monster. Then if you banish that monster that was original reptile, draw one card. So you guys can see, right? When you go second, we can make lizard rolls, tribute itself, or banish itself, target monster on the field, and then because this card, we can draw a card. So works very well. Again, Bahamut Toad, because why not? Now the synchros, there's a lot of flex room in my opinion. So Brio is one of them. You can also play like, I think it's like magical Brionac or some shit like that. Like, it's pretty good. I just felt like I wasn't reborning it enough to make it where it has to do it. I also like how like I can constantly be looping Brio if I like kind of have the chance. Then Coral Dragon, again, it's mandatory. Dragite, there's some pretty cool ways on how you can make Dragite, so it's really good in that regard. Similar to Packbit, when you go second, you can go ahead and use it to like manipulate monsters in your own graveyard or face up monster your opponent controls. Then we have the Croc, we have the Trish, because Trish can be summoned off this Lancea, and then this will trigger. Similarly, we play the level 11 Trish because, again, it can float into Trish. Then we have the one Cheng Ying, again, water synchro, so we're not really locked. And Cheng Ying just broken. Like, late game, you just punch your opponent in the throat because they have like 15 million banish cards and you win the game. Similarly, Ice Shade, the other one, I'm literally not pronouncing this card. It's pretty good as well because it can, in response to like evenly Lightning Storm, gives you board protection, bench all the cards, so it's really good in that regard as well, guys. But that's it for the video, guys. I know I talked a lot, guys. If you guys want to see more videos, let me know by commenting down below. Leave a like, subscribe. My name's Hamza, like I always say. Keep on shining, never go on your dreams. Peace.